everybody. Welcome to Rob's train set. I'm sitting down in the lounge dining room with my my old computer, the one that operates the train set and does everything. And I got it back from the computer people yesterday, and it's been really revamped. For maybe an 9 or 8 year old computer, it's got a new lease of life. In the end, I did ask about having a bigger hard drive put in. So originally they were going to put a 500 megabyte, no, not a megabyte, gigabyte drive in. But that would have been smaller than I already had in it, which was 640 or so. And bearing in mind I had 266 gigabytes of what's her name in anyway, I thought it's a bit of a retrograde step, isn't it? So I did ask, can you have a bigger drive in the same space? Which apparently you can. So I've now got a 1 terabyte of storage in this computer, which wasn't an awful lot more money, I must say. And when I phoned up to find out if work had been done, the gentleman at the end of the line sort of said, yeah, lovely, excuse me, but we would like to increase your RAM. Now the RAM is a random access memory, which is what gives sometimes a computer the speed, because it's kept ready to use very, very quickly. And the more of that you've got, the quicker the computer will react, I suppose. So originally this came with 6 megabytes of RAM, and I believe it's now been raised to 8 megabytes of RAM, which I'm assuming is as much as you can get in this old computer. So the only thing they can't upgrade on these is the processor. The thing is designed around that processor, and it's very difficult to change them. They're soldered into the case, and to break it apart and all that, he said it'd be cheaper to buy a new one. So I'm really happy with this. Phenomenal difference in the speed, all because it's got this solid state drive instead of the disk spinning, and this extra RAM. So I'm hoping it will certainly help my video editing, because sometimes when I'm trying to watch it full screen, it just stutters, it stops, and then and then it'll catch up and it's unwatchable really. So this really is the first day of the change from Hornby's RAILMASTer eLINK control, basically iTRAINS. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this computer that I'm recording this on up to the layout, plug it all in, and I just would like to check the voltage to the track that it's being delivered, because as you see, my trains run, or most of them run very well, and I don't touch wood, and I am. The kitchen table, which is why the picture's shaking, I've not had really bad failures or anything, Peter Dixon was having decoders burn out and all this, wasn't he? Basically because too much track voltage, perhaps, I don't know. I was surprised. I did look on the Hornby 37 TTS railroad loco decoder sheet for the sound, and I was amazed to see that those decoders will actually take 25 volts, which I was really surprised about. I really was. So that sounds good, doesn't it? So I just want to see the voltage that these get, because I don't want a lot of voltage going through and then all my decoders not liking it, or my engines for that matter. We'll see. So I'm going to do that first. I'm also going to reduce some of those sides of the trains that you saw in the introductory one, basically because I want the Ginty, the one that actually works, to pull some carriages round to see things. So the first thing to do after all that will be to try and get this to work. So I need to plug it into the new computer, I've already downloaded the software for it, so I'm a little bit like that. You know, am I going to be able to do this, and will I sort it out, and we'll see how we go. So ultimately today, I would like to have at least one train, and possibly the Ginty, running using this. I'm not going to connect all the sensors and everything to this because I don't need them at the moment, and I just want to see how it works. And I'm also going to try maybe on a cord and see if it actually makes any difference to its running. I suspect not, because I think the problem is probably in Bonaccord, but we'll see. So I'm going to clear up here and go upstairs and get on with the thing. Well, everybody, here we are back down in the dining room, basically on the dining room table, which I have actually extended, so it's sort of nearly the size that the train set was on, without the big gaps between the centre bits. And I've done this because I now have two laptops, and it's a bit early for me 10 o'clock tea, but I'm thirsty. I've been up since about 6 o'clock, and it's taken all this time to get to a point where I can maybe start programming this DR5000. So please excuse me while I partake of some owl liquid. And I'm going to use, this is the original webcam, which, you know, it doesn't do a bad little job, but it's actually perched on the new computer, but I'm recording to the old one, which, okay, whatever. Now, I'm going to lift it off of here in a minute and just show you my little setup. The reason I thought it was worthwhile buying another computer, even though the original would have been okay, especially with all the upgrades that I've mentioned. So I'm just going to lift you off. I'll cut out. So here we are. Here's my setup, and as you can see, the new computer is at the foreground, and the picture does seem quite a bit bigger, but it isn't. It's still a 15.7 inch screen. It may be the surround is a lot narrower, isn't it? So it could be that. And there's my trusty new one. Now if you look, if I go closer, the reason I've done this primarily is A, to have a backup and to run the trains on something different, so that I can run the trains and talk to my live stream comments without having to keep switching between. That's one of the ideas, which I think might work. And the other idea is that if you see on the right hand side as you're looking at this picture, I've got the DR5000 manual up, which means I can have this up full screen and read as I go along without having to either switch about on the new computer or print out a load of paperwork that I don't really want to do. So that's what I've done it for. And as you can see there, we're getting the picture in a picture in a picture. But there we are. So I'm going to go back on the top of the new computer, and then we'll finish this up. And I've got to get down to the hard work of trying to set these up. Now, I did get the decoder type on the Ginty, and it's a lock sound 4 decoder in that Ginty. And the other thing I bought up is, if I spin round gently, is this box. Now this box is from my Hornby point and signal decoders, of which I've got quite a few. And I just thought it would be worth having this, because somehow I've got to get the DR5000 operating these points through these point decoders. So it could be fun, couldn't it? Okay, everybody. So back onto the computer screen, I think we'll say. This one here. Right, so yeah, so I'm about to now start doing what I need to do. So see you later on, everybody. See you later on. So I connected up the DR5000 to the computer, and all the lights started flashing at me. I'll show you a little bit of video at the end of this bit. And it was fairly straightforward. Plug it in, plug it in. I've got my old laptop with the manual on, so I got the page up for and into the thing, and in a minute you'll see the problems I had. So it's flashing
as
away.
I've got to follow the instructions, I had this page up, which is in the manual, and it basically says don't turn the software on until you've connected the hardware. So I connected the hardware, but when you read this, it doesn't seem to say to turn the software on. It just says Windows will recognise it, and then this window will pop up to show you where it's been connected. Okay, so I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing happened. So in the end, I did start the software, and you can see it here behind this window. But this computer management screen never came up. It didn't come. So I found this manually and started it, and I've clicked on the device manager, which is quite a useful tool, and if I pan in here slowly, it's supposed to give you some the comms to control it, and it has. It's here, it's done. But it never told me, so that was a bit disconcerting. So now I can go on to the next stage, hopefully. If I just pan down very slowly past the blinking light on that representation of it, it's still flashing away merrily at me. So great fun. So let's get on with the next bit.
So when I had those COM ports, I brought this page up, and you can see the update, whether it needs an update, and it had the same numbers, so that was fine. Didn't need to update the unit, so fairly new one, I would think. I think it is updated quite often, so see how we go. Okay, so I'm up back in the loft. I've taken the wires out of the eLINK and I put them into the DR5000. Now, interestingly, where you put the leads into the DR5000, the track output, there is no red or black. There's no live, no neutral. It's guesswork. Can't even find any in the documentation, although I must admit I've not looked that hard. So at the moment I've not turned anything off. I'm being ultra cautious here. I've taken all my locos off that could get burnt. I've taken the buffer light off at the end of the station there. The one at the end where the DMU is okay because it's isolated with the point. So I'm about to plug in and I'm going to see what happens. I haven't found it intuitive at all. I don't find the instructions particularly helpful. I've watched a few things on YouTube which to a certain extent help a bit, but I think it's too fast and they don't go through every step, or if they do, they mention it in 2 seconds and it's gone. So anyway, so there we go. So I'm going to stop the recording and turn this on, and then I have success with the locos. I'll show you. I shall be very relieved. Right, see you later on. Well, welcome back everybody. It took a little bit of time, but if you listen carefully you might be able to hear some trains running. So I'm going to take you off the tripod and do a bit of handheld to show you what's going on. I'm really pleased. I really am. I was very like this, you know, wondering, but yeah, it's working. So it's pretty simple at the end of the day. But I will show you why I don't like button controlled operating systems, i.e. you need a number to do what you want to do. So sign off for a minute I heard a little chink there. Let's see what that was. Oh, yeah. We've got a derail. We've got an uncoupling. So I better go and sort that out first. There's my 47 running. There's my Bonner cord running. And if we wait a little while longer, right at the back, there's my Ginty. And they're all running quite well. Bonner cord is still doing its thing, stopping from time to time. And I've had to run it fairly fast to stop it doing it all the time. But I'm quite happy with it. There it is, it's a bit, there we are, on cue. So what else can I do? So let's go down and have a look at the computer screen. And as you can see, I hope, it's a bit of a mismatch of things. And we've got a stop over there. I think my wagons, my daypole wagons, are causing a problem. So I'll go and sort that out. Let's just see if the Ginty will this time go over this point without problems. Now I've got the camera on, will it go? Yes. Couplings I think, and trucks. I've swapped the two front ones over, changed the couplings, and it now seems to be tracking away. I tried the back to back, which seemed okay. So wonderful, isn't it? So let's have a look at the control panel. And yes, Bonner cord is still stopping. So here's what we have on the computer screen. So this is the new computer, obviously, and I'm controlling the Ginty with this one here. And if I actually do that, I hope you can hear that. We've got sound. So, and although I'm not going to do it, if I bring this one over, these are all my points. And if I use this one, for number 1, I can change the light there, look, which is great. You might notice that the other light, if you can see it, and I'm not sure you can, but hang on, I'll just go there a little bit. You might see that the other light isn't on. And I think that's because this board only goes up to 16 buttons, and there are far more than 16 points on this layout. So I suspect that that light is one that isn't on here. So I have to sort that out. It's probably just a case of going into the structuring and sorting it. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring one of these others forward. So this is the class 47, and again if I put on F1 we have some sound, and if I turn that little light bulb on we have lights. There we are. On, off. So we got the sound. Okay, so as you can see it gets a little bit crowded on here, and if we click that one to bring it to the front, this is number 3, so this is Bonner cord, and obviously there's no sound or anything on this one, so none of these would work. So there we are. I think that's pretty good. I do find it strange, and I haven't found a way out yet of changing it. If I click on this, that seems to always be behind everything. So I don't quite understand that. I don't know whether you have to have it on because it's working through the software. Perhaps when I connect it to the iTRAINS, it'll be working in the background and not actually on the screen, because iTRAINS will take over all the functions. I've had a few fuses, and basically on this control box, it just automatically switches to the red. Oops, sorry. It automatically switches to the red, and then you clear the obstruction or whatever it might be and push the green button and away they go. But you don't seem to have a choice of whether it's going to start up, or whether you make them all sort of stay stationary, which you can do on RAILMASTER. So I'm quite happy with this. It is working. It is controlling my trains. And if I stop them all, I'll just show you some of the points that I can control and the problems with that. So let's go to. So this is this will be our little 47. And if I push that one, it stops dead. And if I push that one, it will stop to whatever the decoder setting is set to. So we'll wait for it to come round, and I shall probably cut some of this out. And because it's not going very fast, it probably will still stop quite quickly. So with the bonnet cord, I'll stop it suddenly with the other button. And I'm going to hit the button now, and there we are. It just coast to a stop, which I thought was very good. So I now need number 3, which is bonnet cord. And it stopped like that. I don't know if I caught you with that. So all we've got left to do now is Ginty. So I shall try and stop her here, and I can use the mouse with the scroll wheel on it to slow her down, like I can on RAILMASTER, which I didn't think you could do, but you can. So here she comes. Slowing down. Oh, the stuff gets in the way, doesn't it? Coming up to the light, which is still green, but never mind. So that at speed step 1. Well, as you can see, I've got some points here. And what I have to do, because I don't know what numbers they are, I printed out RAILMASTER, and it's got the numbers of the points on, albeit a little bit jumbled up. And I have to look at this to know what one I'm clipping. So I'm going to see if I can do a couple of these, and I'll just show you. So I think the one nearest to this might be number 2. So I'll click number 2 on that control panel you saw, and it clicks, and there we are. So you can click it back and forward. The other one, and actually that is not what I thought. Not what I thought. So I've got the one into the terminus station going, and that is number, I don't know, it's a bit, there isn't a number on that one, but I'm actually operating on number 3. Right, that one's being operated on number 2, which is a bit weird because it shows it as number 5 here, so I think number 2 has been misplaced. There is a 2 on there. So the other one should possibly be number 4. Let's have a look. Obviously not. It doesn't seem to be doing anything, number 4. What about number 5? Yeah, that's done something under the carriage, I think. So as yet I have to get that one sorted. As you can see, I'm finding this very, very confusing. I just don't know what one is what, you know. I'm going to put that one back to what it was. So as you can see, hang on, I'll bring you back to me. So as you saw, I find that very confusing. The obvious thing is, if I had to control them like this, is to have a number on the point. So you can look at the point and say, yes, number 5 or whatever, and work your way around. But for the first day, or the first attempt at this, and this is number 1, I'm really happy. I've got the machine down here, the DR5000 working. It's controlling the trains and the sounds, controlling the points and the lights. The only downside at the moment is I can't control all of my points and all of my lights.
even if I did know what the numbers were. But hopefully when I go into iTRAINS, or if I use the Z21 app on my tablet, you can set it all up a bit like RAILMASTer. So I might try that next. I then have to get it working by Wi-Fi through my router and then the tablet working through that. But I think it should work. It does say it will. So that might be what I do on the next episode. And we'll see how we go. But as you can see, it's a little bit of guesswork in a way from me. Now the points, I'm surprised they work very well. They're actually working better, I think, than they used to. And that might be because on the old decoders, it was 100 milliseconds of power. You can't put a lot of power through a solenoid point motor, it would burn it out. So 100 milliseconds is what the decoder, the point decoder does, the Hornby one, which is under the layout. But this is set at 150 to, or sorry, 50 to 150. Now, whether that's overridden by the Hornby decoder, I don't know, but they seem to be working very well when I find out which button does what. So I'm going to finish it here, but I'm trying to give you a flavour of what I'm feeling and how I'm doing it. It's not, you know, it's not all the technical stuff. It's just trying to get it to work, which I think you'd agree I have got it to work, and I'm very pleased. And bearing in mind this is the first time I've operated a train on here in 4 years with a new system. I've been using RAILMASTer for 4 years, so it does seem strange not having it there, but I'm happy with this. And I do like the speed steps. It does seem to control the trains a little bit more and allow them to start slower and stop slower. So pleased with that. So watch out for the next episode. I hope I bored you too much, and I wish you all well. I'd like to thank some of the subscribers that have come back on, or have come on, and I'd like to know why some have left. But you know, I'm happy. A few more views would be nice, as you probably realise, but you know, whatever. It's what I make, isn't it? Cheers everybody. Cheers.